Would you like to be on the fast track for success? Imagine if I just tossed you the keys and handed you a roadmap. Instead, do exactly this in order to have better relationships, improve physical and mental health, and have life experiences that everyone dreams of. Well, if you're watching this video, then I'm quite literally handing you the keys because this is one of the most important videos I've ever done. And I've made a lot of mistakes that I wish I could have avoided, but I've also had a lot of success so far. So I'm gonna cut through all the noise and give you exactly 7 things I wish I knew when I was in my early 20s so you don't make the same mistakes I did. And if you stay till the very end, you'll learn one of the tips that I wish I started earlier, because the longer you wait, the worse it gets for you. First is learning to play the infinite game. I always put deadlines and timelines on myself, and I think most of us do as well. Whether it's to lose weight, it's I'm gonna lose this many pounds in this many months, get a job, reach a certain income level, have a girlfriend. Everything is planned out in your mind that I need to do this by this age or this much time it's gonna take to do anything you wanna do. But people who are really successful in life don't do that. They do it regardless of how long it's gonna take. Alex Hormozi and Mr. Beast talk about this often, but they were going to be in business or making YouTube videos regardless of how long it took to be successful. And Naval Ravikant says, you can't beat someone who's having fun at what they do. So even for this YouTube channel, I took a very different approach. Instead of saying I want to have this much success or this much income by YouTube at a certain level, I always just told myself I'm going to make 3 videos a week no matter what happens, because I'm going to play the infinite game in this. I'm going to spend as much time as it takes. I don't care, it's going to be 2, 3, 4 years. Instead of looking at the deadline and the goal that, oh, I need to have this much success or this many subscribers in this many months, I'm instead trying to play the long game and do this for the fact that I'm going to do in itself. Same way with their physique or your mental or physical health. Don't have a goal of when you're going to be in shape by, or when you're going to go see a psychiatrist, or when you're going to pick up meditation, because there is no goal for health. The goal is to play the infinite game in that. So the more you switch over to playing the infinite game in things, it's less about, oh, I need to make $1 million by this year, but it's, I'm going to keep doing this thing regardless of if I make $1 million or not, and eventually I will, if it takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. Because there's 2 people, one who's just trying to make as much money as possible with this business, which is what I used to do, which is why I quit coaching. And I have a video up there where it goes into it more, but I always had coaching as a purpose that I'm gonna just make this much money, I'm gonna sell this many courses, and I'm gonna finally be able to quit my job as a data scientist at JP Morgan. And I kept overemphasizing and obsessing over this number of money I need to make. And I was trying as hard as I can to push products and to push my courses to the point I got inauthentic. And I realized that was because I was playing the short game. I was trying to have a deadline of when I need to make the money by. Versus this YouTube channel, I'm gonna just make 3 videos as long as it ever takes. And that's it. Like, I could get successful in a few months, I could get successful in 4 years. It doesn't matter to me because I'm in it for the long game. So if there is something that's frustrating you or bothering you, think of it from that approach. And it takes a lot of maturity to think that way. And it's kind of depressing because we always have a deadline and a timeline for ourselves. But the longer you push it out, the more you just enjoy the process, not the destination. I know it's cheesy to say, but you will be more successful in the long run that way, for sure. Lesson 2 goes hand in hand with the first one, and it's progress over perfection. People who are ambitious like you and me, we like to make things very perfect. Even if it's just folding our laundry or doing a project or making a dinner with friends as best as possible, we want everything to be perfect because that's what we expect from ourselves and things around us. But it really hinders success again in the long run. A story that really drove the point home for me, it's this story about a pottery class. Maybe you've heard of it. There's a class that was divided into 2 sections. One section was given the task of making the most perfect, beautiful pot for the whole semester. They just focus on one pot and make it the best they possibly can. And the second group was given a task of making as many pots as they possibly could, whether it's 100, 200, 300. Within one semester, the goal is to crack the number of many pots as they could possibly make. At the end of the semester, the teacher judged which person had the most beautiful pot. Was it the one whose whole goal was to make the most flawless, beautiful pot, or the other which made 100+ pots and they just graded the last one? And it turns out the one who made the most pots had the most beautiful pot at the end. So it's all about practice. It's all about consistency, not intensity, when it comes to progress and perfection over time. So for example, another case is this YouTube video. I know my first 10, 15, 200 videos will suck, but over time, by putting myself out there and progress, not having every video perfect, it will get to perfection at some point on its own. Gary Vee talks about this a lot when it says to just making content and putting yourself out there. It's about making your first shitty 100 pages, as writers say. I've written a book and I know what it takes. You have to just put your shitty 100 pages together before you can actually make a good product out of it. So one of the superpowers I've had is being able to execute and do something when other people get caught up in this whole perfection scenario. I've started multiple businesses because while most people just talk about it when they have a few beers and never do anything about it, I'll talk about it And then the next day I'll actually do it. I'll actually set up the Shopify website. I'll try drop shipping. I'll try Amazon FBA. I'll try running Facebook ads. While most people just talk about it, I go ahead and execute. Most of them haven't been successful, I'll be honest. Some of them have, but most of them haven't. But it's because I have multiple of those attempts, I'm able to be successful in everything else I do slowly and later on. Progress is the goal, and being infinite in your progress is the ultimate goal. It's not about perfection in the short term. Lesson 3 is how to find your tribe. This is something I've always been very worried about. I moved around a lot when I was growing up. I'd never been in the same school for more than 3 years till college. I grew up in Michigan, moved to Virginia, and Virginia when I was 8 or 9 years old. I moved to India, lived in Hyderabad for 5 years, came back in 10th grade to DC, and then I went to Indiana for college. I never really had a chance where I was in the same school for more than a couple of years, and I was constantly trying to find my tribe. When I went to college, it was an in-state school. Most people knew each other in that school, like 70%. I know no one. I didn't know a single soul. And then after college, I moved to New York, such a big city, one of the biggest and most craziest cities in the world. I didn't know a single person in Manhattan, yet I was living here for the next 5 years. So I've always been worried about finding my tribe and wondering, where will I find those people? I had friends I could go drink with. I had friends I could just go party with. I didn't have any friends I could have brunch with or just hang out with or have deep conversations like this with. So I was so obsessed and worried that it made me unhappy all the time, that I didn't have a tribe, I didn't have a core group of friends. But what I realized was, ultimately I did. I have an amazing group of friends now, and I did in college after a year or two, and I did after in high school a year or two. You always have to spend 1 year with loneliness and having no friends almost, and that's normal and that's okay. I hear people all the time saying, oh, my daughter just moved here, my son just moved here, and they're terribly unhappy. It's been a whole year. It's like, bro, you have to give them a year, a shitty year. That's just what it takes. Like, your rent, your payment for having a great social life is giving 1 year of just terrible, unhappy, no social life. And it doesn't have to be terrible, unhappy. Because in that 1 year, you're able to say yes to most experiences. You're able to go out, have fun, try new things that you wouldn't, join clubs. And that's such a big one that people always miss out on. Especially when I was in high school, every time I joined a new school, I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anyone. All these people were friends for 5, 10 plus years and grew up together since elementary school. How was I supposed to make friends and be that kid that everyone wanted to hang out with? I would join clubs. I would try new things. And I remember trying everything possible to the point that I was part of like 6, 7 clubs. You don't have to be great or good at any of those. It's all about joining those clubs and just being a part of a community. Same with when I joined college for the first year. Put my shitty year in, I had a bunch of drinking friends. I didn't have a core group of friends. Then over time, I joined a lot of groups because I always forget my own advice. And once I started joining groups, even when they were the most random groups that were totally outside my comfort zone, like one of them was a dance team for Indian Garba Ras. I don't even know dance like that, but I did that and I made a group of friends, and the serendipity has led out to the point where those friends I made connected me with friends of friends, and those friends were connecting me with friends of friends who are now like core groups of my friends in New York. It's crazy how those things trickle down, but it's all about saying yes and trying in the first place to put yourself out there. So your tribe will find you. That's what I'm trying to say. When you put yourself out there, you join clubs, you try to make the best of your first shitty year, which will always happen, so don't try to get over it. Your tribe will find you. And that's what I want you to take from that lesson, that there's something magical about the serendipity of saying yes to most things that make you uncomfortable or outside your comfort zone or things you wouldn't want to in the first place. But you might not see the results now, but 6 years from now, one of the things you said yes to might lead to something, would lead to something which led to your future partner in life. You know, it's really crazy how those things work out, but try putting yourself out there and your tribe will find you. Don't worry about finding your tribe. Lesson 4 is don't get caught up in FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. I swear, man, if I went to a doctor and I tried to get myself diagnosed with FOMO, they'd give me chronic FOMO of all time. That's how I was in college, and that's how especially was when I first moved to New York. I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't say no to anything. And this led me to going on week-long parties. It was just not in my vocabulary saying no. I would drink, I would go out, I would go on trips, I would go on events, I would spend money, whatever it took, I said yes, yes, yes. Because what I did was I took step 3 to the extreme. You can say yes to most things, and I want you to step outside your comfort zone, but yes shouldn't come at the cost of your mental and physical health, which it was for me. So I didn't know how to say no, and it was really tough for me. It was almost like a muscle I had to develop and practice in order to say no. There were many nights I wanted to stay in because I was not feeling well, I was sick or whatever it was, but I just couldn't bring myself to say no. So I'd go out, drink, party till like 5 a.m. and then repeat it for 6 days in a row. You have to learn how to say no at the cost of your mental and physical health. It's tough, it's a muscle you have to build up, but the more you practice saying it, the better you'll get at it. I think in our generation, a lot of us say sorry and apologize all the time for everything. Don't apologize, be firm. It's okay to say no. It's okay to put your foot in the ground and say, this is not something I want to do. And it's instead actually looked at as respect. I always felt like it would make me a loser, someone who's lame, who says no to things. But instead, it gives you power, it gives you authority. People look up to you because they see that you're someone who has morals and values. Try saying no a few times this week. I know it's tough and it's not easy, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it's something that every adult needs to get really grounded with, because the more you say no, the better your life becomes. It's crazy how the transition happened, but it's okay. It's okay to totally say no, and you should say it as much as you can when you're trying to practice out in the beginning. Say yes to most things, but also don't say yes to everything. Know when it's right to say no and practice it aggressively. 5 is how to find your purpose. This is one of those things that I agonized over all the time as well. One was finding my tribe, but one is this crazy existential crisis our generation has, which what's my purpose? What's my goal? What's my point in life? What am I supposed to be doing every day? What's my career path I need in order to be the most fulfilled version of myself? And I was so obsessed with this that I was never happy. I had amazing jobs. I was working in some of the best companies in the world. I was getting paid more than anyone I knew my age, and I was still deeply unhappy because it wasn't aligning with my whatever universal godlike purpose was supposed to be. And I watched a lot of videos, read a lot of books, and tried to understand, how does one find their purpose? And to be honest, I think we're going about this the wrong way. We shouldn't be finding our purpose. We should be seeking to create our purpose. What I want you to do is try the buffet of life. You can't just magically sit around and wait for your purpose to drop in your lap. And that's what I learned over time. And I tried everything I possibly could. I started e-commerce businesses. I worked in a 9-to-5 corporate job. I worked in investment banking. I wrote books. I tried social media. I tried online coaching. I tried a variety of things before I realized what my purpose is, and that is to create content to inspire people like you. I couldn't just figure that out if I was sitting there and just working my 9-to-5 and not feeling anything. You need to go out there and put yourself out there and try different things. You need to try the buffet of life in order to find your purpose. And this is what I've realized as well. I was never passionate about anything until I worked hard on it. Even when I was at work and I was doing data science work, I hated it, but I noticed the times when I was actively trying to learn new courses or tools or languages for data science, and I spent maybe 6-7 hours working on a dashboard for analytics, I'd be like, I actually kind of like this. It was a weird feeling, but the more hard work you put into something and get better at something, it makes you feel like it's your purpose or your passion. So don't set out to just wait for your passion to appear. It's not something that's, though a lot of the gurus and influencers along say, you don't need to have a purpose crafted right now. You need to go find hard work to do things which will make you find your purpose eventually, because it will come to you when you do things. So I want you to take this message as the way I took it, which is just try everything you possibly can. I literally woke up one day, I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I don't know why. Maybe my purpose is to be author. I don't know, but I won't know unless I try. Now I know I'm not a big fan of writing books. I don't know how people can say with a straight face that they love putting together a book. It's the most tough, horrible, treacherous process, writing all those pages together. But some people may enjoy it, but for me, I didn't. So at least I can cross it off my list of what my purpose is, and that's not to be an author. So I just keep finding things to cross off my list. Maybe try jiu-jitsu this weekend, try going for a karaoke class. I don't know what it is, man. Try acting classes, try whatever it takes to start crossing things off your purpose list, because one day when you do find something that I don't mind this, and then you start working hard at it and learning and becoming the craft and the best person at that skill, then your career and your purpose will come to you as well. A lot of these things just happen when you try your best, and you need to try in order to find your purpose. Number 6 is how to spend your money, and that is to focus on experiences, not material things. Clearly, I'm someone who likes material things. I spend a lot of money on sweaters, on clothing, on 100+ fragrances. If you see my other videos, skincare, grooming, I like buying nice things. I recently shifted that mindset because I noticed, though I was getting short-term happiness with buying these material things, it wasn't providing me the long-term satisfaction that I was looking for in a high-quality life. All the experiences I had were from memories of novel things I tried. Maybe it was backpacking in Machu Picchu, or when I took a trip to Pamplona and ran with the bulls. It was pretty crazy. That was a crazy experience, but I remember that. Going to Ibiza or going to Thailand last year. Like, these are experiences I fondly and vividly remember. I can't even tell you what I did last weekend. Like, I can't tell you what I did 3 weeks ago. Like, I can't tell you what I did these times, and maybe I did buy something new, maybe I didn't. But the fact of the matter is that the more money you spend on experiences, you will have a larger life force worth living for because you will feel that you're so expansive and your life has done so many things. Oftentimes what we do is we just stay in our small bubble, hang out with the same people, go to the same bars, eat the same food at the same restaurants, and we wonder why our life doesn't seem as grand as all these people we see on influencers and celebrities. But yours can be, and you don't need to, once again, pick up your bags and just travel to Mykonos. Just find novel experiences in your area. Go join an improv class. Maybe try a pizza cooking challenge. I don't know. Try something novel in your area that counts as an experience and just go from there, because that's all it really takes. Try spending time with new people that you haven't met before. It's these small experiences that will make a grand, bigger, more vast life experience overall for you. And these short-term things like these clothes, I mean, I can tell you, I bought clothing 3 years ago, even 6 months ago, that I look at that shirt and I'm like, how the hell did I buy that? I don't even like that style anymore, and I just wasted money. So use money in order to expand and bring life to your life versus just adding more comfort and these pleasures to life, which will disappear within a few weeks, months, maybe at most years. So lesson 7 is a lesson I wish I started many years ago, but it's a practice I recently picked up, and that is journaling. Like I said in my previous tip, most people don't remember most things that happen to them. Human beings are funny. We have very short-term memories, and most of them just disappear. When you think back at life, the last 5 years, let's say, how many things do you really, truly remember? Maybe 15, 20, 30 things? But journaling helps you keep track of every single day and how you're feeling in that moment. It helps you have a conversation with yourself. And I love looking back at my journaling, which I started a few years ago, and I'll say, oh wow, like, this is the day I felt like I was doing this, or that was the day I felt doing that. And days when I'm having a bad day, I'm able to look back and see what I did and how I got through those other days. It makes life so much larger once again, because you're able to document these memories that we may have forgotten about. I'll sometimes just scroll through my old journal and I'll say, oh crap, I remember I had dinner with that person. I remember I did that day. So it's such a powerful experience, and it's such a great practice because, one, it's very mindfully enriching. Because if you see any of the greats, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Marcus Aurelius, Michelangelo, any of these guys, Leonardo da Vinci, they all kept diaries. They just did, and they wrote every single day in them as a way to have a conversation with themselves and be the best version of themselves. So that's already a given benefit. But the second one that I think is much far better is you're documenting your life in a way that no one else can do for you. And it's just so interesting to look back at how you feel in those moments, in those days, and seeing how you are now and comparing yourself back to then. So I wish I started this 5, 10, 15 years ago. It would be so cool to look at journal entries I did when I was like 15 or 14, or when I was even younger than that, and how I used to think and how I used to perceive the world and what was going on in my world in that time. I can't even tell you one thing that happened when I was 11 or 12 years old. Maybe I can tell you what happened in my early teens, but I can't tell you what happened then. It's just so weird how the mind works, and as you get older, the less you start to even remember about your younger days. So I would really encourage you, if you haven't done already, journal right now. And it doesn't have to be such a huge activation. You just have to write something about how you feel that day. Many of my earlier diary entries where I don't know why I'm writing, but I'm writing this, and today I felt this, and let's document what I did that day. I woke up, I had this for breakfast, I had this for lunch. Today was a bad day, or today was a good day. So just document what you're feeling and going through that day, and then over time it'll become such a beautiful practice, and it's something I look forward to every single morning. It's one of my highlights of my day, honestly. And then every so often when I'm very introspective, I'll go and see how I was feeling years ago, and it's just such a almost romantic quality to have with yourself in order to see what you've been through and where you are now. If you made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you so much. You're a real one, and I appreciate you. And if you're new here, my name is Sid Chawla. I drop videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on all things productivity, grooming, and personal development. And I mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, and drop me one of these thumbs ups to let me know that, Sid, we appreciate you and all the hard work and value you're giving to us, and it lets YouTube algorithm know that this guy Sid, he's putting some good videos out there, so let's push this video out and get him more subscribers and views, because I'm really interested in growing on this channel, and if you help me, I would love to help you even more as much as I can. So thank you guys so much for following along. Let me know in the comments what is one life lesson that you're gonna make practical today, because there's no point in watching this video if you don't put anything into action. So find me one life lesson that you took from this video and put in the comments to hold yourself accountable that you're gonna start executing on. And I'm gonna bloop up 2 videos here, 4 phrases that make you sound low value, and 7 steps for effortless charisma. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.